Sports fans, if you're training this summer to improve your game, you simply have to check out the Boingvert Vertical Jump program. It will increase your athletic ability and explosiveness, two main ingredients to being a better basketball player. Version 1 is a bodyweight vertical jump program, while version 2 is the weight room program. You should definitely check it out by clicking on the link here or below in the description. You in? Yesterday, news broke that Mercurial point guard Ty Lawson was traded by the Denver Nuggets to the Houston Rockets. In exchange for Kostas Papanikolaou, Joey Dorsey, Pablo Prigioni, Nick Johnson, and a protected first-round pick, the Rockets get a water bug of a player who ignites the fast break with his speed and makes life difficult for his defender with his subtle attack that isn't very flashy but gets the job done. Over the past 20 seasons, only 8 players have averaged 15 points, 9.5 assists, and 3 rebounds per game. And last year, amidst a tumultuous atmosphere that saw Brian Shaw get fired, Lawson joined that elite point guard club. He joins a team that, even though devastated by injuries to point guard Patrick Beverley and Donatas Motiejunas, both starters, they rebounded in a thriller against the Clippers in the Western Conference semifinals and gave the Warriors all they could handle in 5 games. Looking at the Rockets' synergy numbers from last year in the regular season, we see that while their overall offense ranked 11th, they struggled in some key categories. They were just below average in both the spot-up and transition categories, which would be cause for concern since the Morey ball they so firmly believe and execute calls for these two things to be used the most often. Let's look at some clips where Patrick Beverley was able to get spot-up shots and see how this compares to what Lawson will get. Teams try to double James Harden off of Patrick Beverley early and often, and while Beverley has enough ability to make them pay from time to time, you can imagine what this will do for Harden, as defenses know if they give Ty Lawson this kind of space to attack, it's going to be a finish every time. The Rockets' offense isn't complicated, as they like to set quick inside ball screens for Harden, and Lawson could get some of the easiest and open threes he's ever gotten. And it's this kind of action where the focus on James Harden pulls the defense out of shape by setting inside ball screens, forcing the defense to rotate, and will open up drives like this for Ty Lawson. No longer will we see teams continually try to help early off of Patrick Beverley, as James Harden is too good a passer and Lawson is too good an offensive player to allow that to happen without making them pay. The Rockets' offense is littered with actions that get Harden going to the hoop and opening things up, and it wouldn't be hard to imagine Lawson easily getting into the paint and scoring on plays like this from Beverley. And likewise, this very common play that spreads the floor for a Harden pick and roll could easily be converted for Lawson, and then it'd be Harden catching this pass and attacking from the wing, a devastating thought to most defenses. The Rockets' offense did tolerate Patrick Beverley pick and rolls, and what got me excited was seeing how often they ball screened with James Harden himself. Harden's gravity in these actions would certainly serve to open up the court for Ty Lawson to get to the paint and also find daylight from beyond the three-point line. I like spotting Harden on the elbow and horns and having Beverley attack off that screen to the hoop, something Lawson would be great at, and they also have nice pick and roll twist action, setting an initial screen, then turning around and setting a second ball screen. There would be no help off of Harden's man, and Lawson would be able to have his pick of scoring options. And let's not forget Dwight Howard will be setting ball screens for Lawson as well. If Dwight rolls hard, it will be almost impossible to stop both of them attacking the front of the rim at full speed. And on ball reversals, where the defense gets spread a little bit, this kind of action is either an easy score for Lawson or a vicious alley-oop dunk for Howard. Looking at Ty Lawson's rankings in the pick and roll, we see that he was very good last year, and even better his last year under George Karl, whose offense is much more similar to what Lawson will be involved with in Houston. And it's easy to see why. He's great at rejecting screens, then using his body to create space to release the ball with nice touch. And he can easily turn into the middle of the floor and rise up for the 15-footer, which he is also very good at finishing. While he might be short, he is fantastic at the change of pace, keeping defenders off balance, and then using his sneaky strong body to shield the ball from the bigger defenders at the rim. He doesn't get many threes off the pick and roll, but he will make defenses pay if they insist on going underneath them. Considering how often the Rockets run in transition to get threes, it was quite odd to see them ranked below average in this category. And it's safe to say that Ty Lawson, compared to Patrick Beverley, will raise this ranking significantly. His speed on the dribble practically forces the defense into retreat mode into the paint, where he can hit his elbow jumper easily. And while he is super fast with the ball, he is always under control, on balance, and finishes well with either hand. The Rockets rank 3rd in the league in steals per game, and when you have someone like Lawson on your team, getting a bucket gets a lot easier as a finisher at the rim or trailing into a three, which is the exact kind of plays the Rockets love and should get at a higher efficiency than their other guards they've had the past few years. Shockingly, a team with Dwight Howard setting ball screens only ranks 17th in the roll man category, and with Lawson running the team, one can only hope Dwight will significantly cut down on his woefully inefficient post-ups and start screening and rolling more, since Ty Lawson has mastered the subtlety and fine art of throwing perfect bounce passes to big men who are rolling to the hoop. And if they cut to the front of the rim on one of his drives, he's got very good vision for someone barely 6 feet tall. And his stature doesn't interfere with him driving and kicking for threes as well. This type of simple kick to the corner in transition will make everyone in Houston love him just a little bit more. He clearly has the knack for finding the open shooter, particularly in the weak side corner, where Houston feasts. We all know how dominant James Harden has been in the Rockets' offense, but based on his willingness to pass, he led everybody in the NBA last year in assists for threes. I just don't see this as too much of a problem. In fact, Lawson ranked in the 67th percentile in isolations last year, meaning he can easily take the burden off of Harden by a little bit, allowing Harden to give more effort on the defensive end. Of course, everyone will point to Harden's struggles and Lawson's average defensive prowess and say this can't possibly work, but the Rockets still have above average defenders to throw out on the court to balance that out. I anticipate a big rise in their offensive rating this year, and without question, if they stay healthy and things off the court work themselves out, the Rockets will be a team no one wants to play. The never say die culture has already been installed, as evidenced by their comeback versus the Clippers, and their roster now has some serious firepower to contend for that bloodbath that is also known as the Western Conference Playoff Bracket.